Hey, enthusiasts, what's happening? This is Salty Language, episode 627.
The sexiest podcast on the network.
Noise.
Hi, Brian.
Noise. Hello, Tony.
How's
Yeah, we just recorded a new Crazy Life last night. It was our 350th Crazy
Oh, it's a
Life.
tree fitty?
Tree
Tree
Fitty. Yeah.
fitty.
So, yeah, well over 1,000 episodes of podcasting for
Yeah, look
me.
at you go, Brian. Man.
Oof, so many.
So many episodes.
Yep. Yep. Big stuff. 350 on that. You and I hit 12 years on this.
Shit's crazy.
Yeah. It's a lot of
It's a
stuff.
lot of stuff, man.
Yeah.
We're
Third.
recording awfully late this week.
Yeah. Former third Mike Tate move in within an hour of us. So theoretically, maybe we could see if we can get the band back together, maybe in the same room,
That'd be
even,
weird, wouldn't it?
right? For the first time ever.
For the first time ever.
Yeah. That'd be kind of fun to
Yeah.
do. I'm going to talk to her about that at some
Yeah,
point.
fair enough.
I think that'd be kind of fun to do. Yeah. Good shit.
Yeah.
Good.
So how's it going, man?
No, not too bad. Tried to get myself back to cooking at home again. Didn't tonight, but I have the last few nights. We had a bunch of because my mom was dog sitting for my sister last weekend.
Did you cook dog?
And she had, yeah, no, she had a whole bunch of like cherry tomatoes that my other sister had pulled from her garden. And she left us a note that was like, "Hey, take these. That way they don't go bad or anything." Which it was weird because the produce she gave us, I was like, "This stuff, you were only gone a weekend. It's not like you were gone for a month or something. Like it would have been fine, but whatever.
Hey, free
I'll take
maters, man.
I'm not arguing,
Yeah.
right? Especially because our garden is really not produced this year. Like nothing.
Oh, weird.
Like we got one obscene size cucumber finally. That's it. All that we've had a few other cucumbers that were really like pickle size.
Interesting.
Yeah. We've not gotten a lot of tomatoes. Even our raspberries, which by the end of the season last year, we were getting tons of raspberries. They produced towards the beginning of the season, and that's it. We've had nothing come off that bush in weeks now.
Have you shamed them? Have you run out there and shamed them?
Yes, I have.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
So I don't know what's going on, but something didn't work this year, I guess. But my mom was like, well, she was about to give some of those to the neighbor, and I'm like, don't do that. I'm like, I got a use for them. And so last night we went to Aldi yesterday, so I grabbed a variety of things so that, again, to encourage cooking at home.
Of course.
And I made a cherry tomato, like a quick cherry tomato sauce.
Nice.
It's literally just like heat a little Earl, like olive Earl, put a little garlic in there, and you don't cook the garlic till it's brown, but you cook it just for like a minute, basically. Then you put your tomatoes in there, kind of stir it around, a little salt, pepper, sugar, and you about 5 to 7 minutes, the tomatoes will be soft enough that you smash them with like a wooden spoon, basically. And then you kind of stir your sauce a little bit more, and then you just cook them for another 5 to 10 minutes to cook them down, whatever. It doesn't really tighten up. Like your sauce is basically just your tomato stuff and the oil. And, I sauteed a little onion and green pepper and mushroom, threw that in there, and then threw it over some chicken tortellini. So, did that last night. That came out.
I mean, that sounds pretty damn good.
Little Aldi garlic bread.
Hell yeah.
The old take and bake. So that was, it was pretty tasty.
The move of the Aldi take and bake is you make more garlic butter and you slather that shit up, and then it's like chef's kiss.
Yeah. So I needed to leave it in for another probably 2 minutes. It was just a little, I mean, it was fine, but it was like, I should have just cooked it just a little bit longer, but but it was really good. I haven't made that sauce in a long time because I haven't had enough cherry tomatoes to do it, because you need 2 pints roughly, to do it. And that's about what we had. So I was like, well, I'll just do this.
Throw down.
Yeah. So garden fresh green peppers, garden fresh tomatoes in there. It was nice.
Nice. Look at this guy over here.
Then did the old chopped cheese maneuver the day before that.
Nothing wrong with that.
We haven't had that in a few weeks. So my mom was like, "Hey, will you make some chopped cheese?" And I was like, "Yes, that sounds good."
Like, absolutely. But it's
I
all
sure
for
will.
me.
Mm-hmm.
I made a Jersey Mike giant chopped cheese, 4,000
Yeah.
calories.
Right. Boy. Oof. Yeah, I ate too much of that pasta. I always forget that when I'm eating tortellini. I always forget it's like this is filled. You have to remember this isn't just a noodle, like there's actual filling in this that fills you up quicker.
That means you just have to eat faster
Oh yeah, you're
to
right.
get
You're right.
around that.
That's a good point. I didn't think about
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So yeah, I got they had some like pork spare ribs kind of a thing situation like that, you just basically heat. So I'm like gonna do that with some they had like in the frozen veg, they had like sweet potatoes and carrots like in one bag
Mm-hmm.
kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing.
All the
So I'll
orange
probably
shit.
yeah, do that with like some green beans or something like that tomorrow, I think is what I'm gonna
Yeah,
do.
nice.
So it's like just trying to set up to feckin' make decent food again, so it's not because for a while we were eating like whatever could be quick because it's been it had been so
Oh,
hot.
yeah. Well,
It's like I don't want
it's supposed to get hot
you know
as fuck again.
oh I know that's the
Okay.
problem. Yeah, and I know it's like so some of this stuff is one thing, but like the other thing I could do like that pasta, if it had been really hot, I'll just make it later at night, then we can have it the next day basically.
Dude, I don't know why, but that sounds like an amazing name for something. Just like midnight pasta.
It does, right? Well, that's the like you come home after drinking, like you're not drunk, but you've been drinking. It's like, man, I need some carbs in my
Like
face.
that would be a good, it only comes out at night food truck.
Yeah,
Midnight pasta.
night pasta. I think as long as you didn't do anything like real heavy, it probably could be a really good idea.
Right?
Because after like if I've been drinking, I for sure don't want some like heavy cream sauce pasta.
It'll hook me up with a nice bolognese.
Yeah, but if you had just something where it's like that sauce I made where it's kind of light, there's no real heaviness to that sauce, something like that would probably be pretty tasty,
I mean, I
fresh
mean,
off
I could
a few
definitely go with
pints.
like a midnight after drinking carbonara, little
Yeah,
bacon situation going on there. Or
yeah,
I'm sorry, pancetta. Let's get Italian over here.
too fancy.
Sounds good.
We live in Toledo, dude. It's gonna be bacon.
That's true. That's accurate.
Yeah, you're right though. I like this. There aren't enough midnight food trucks, man. Like every time, like if you go to the like brewery or something and they have food trucks, they're only there till like eight
Yeah,
o'clock or 10
it's
o'clock.
like 6:15. We're out.
Yeah, it's like, damn it, like it's midnight. I'm hungry. Now you're forcing me to have to go to Taco Bell or
I mean,
something
I'm
because
minutes away from the Night Owl Diner, which that's how they advertise. We're open
yep,
fucking late. I've still never eaten there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep. I know I've heard the food's good, but I've seen a lot of people really gripe about the
Oh,
prices.
really? It's like my dude Mike lives even closer to it, and he keeps telling me, he's like, "Oh, it's really good. It's really good."
I don't think it's horrible. It's one of those where it's like you probably got to expect to spend about $15 for a
Yeah,
plate. That's not horrible,
that's pretty
It's
average these days.
yeah. When I saw people complaining, I was like, oh, and I went on their site and I was like, oh, it's but it also looks like they try to elevate the
It's like
stuff a little bit.
gastropub food
Yeah.
prices.
The real question I would have is like, what do the portions look like? Like, are you giving me nothing? Because late night, like I said, it's like if I'm coming off us having a few pints, usually I want to put some legit food in my face. I don't want like a taste of food.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, I'm gonna just go to Home Slice or
Yeah,
something.
I don't want the waiter to come out with tweezers and make my plate for me.
Hold on, sir. Let me arrange your food
Yeah,
for you.
like I'm about ready to arrange that nose on your cheek. Give me more
Yeah.
food. I'm starving.
Like is this the like is this a free sample? Like what? Like oh no, that's your entree. Like huh.
I hope this is an
Cons-
87-course meal then,
yeah, right.
because
Like
I'm walking out of here hungry.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize I went to a tiny food restaurant.
Yes, exactly. You look in the kitchen, it's just keyboard elves. Like, it all makes sense now.
And
Look
now
at
it
her
makes
tiny
sense, right?
pans. It's adorable.
Yeah, right. It's like well, they can't make a normal person plate like size pancake. They're using these itty bitty like quarter size
I can't even
pans.
flip a normal pancake.
Right. Like it'd take like all the staff to do
Yeah,
it.
which I kind of want to see.
I do
Not gonna
too.
lie.
Yeah. They have a whole contraption that does it, kind of like a waffle iron, but it's for a
Hell
pancake,
yeah,
just
dude. That sounds amazing. Actually, I
yeah.
kind of want
Nice.
waffles and pancakes.
Both?
Yeah,
Just gonna like stack them,
why
like
not?
alternate.
Let's do it. The waffles will build the foundation. The pancakes will build the house.
That's
Yeah,
fair. I'd allow that.
sounds good. Actually, I have back to Aldi. I've got some French toast sticks in my freezer. Maybe I'll fire those up for breakfast.
Yeah, a woman was super disappointed yesterday because she went over for red bag chicken and they were fresh out. I was very happy that I still
Labor
have
Day
some.
weekend, of course, they're fresh out.
Yeah.
What the hell's wrong with you, woman?
Yeah. Yep. Because she was on the phone with somebody and she goes, "They're out," and I could hear the person on the phone going, "Well, damn it, we needed 2 bags," and she's like, "Well, they don't have one, so like you know, we're bumming basically." And I was like, "Yeah, there's no replacing
Just
it."
followed by a gunshot on the other end of the line. Oh God!
I mean, there are other places that
Oh
have
no!
fried chicken
Nope.
breast, but most of them are breaded.
There's only one
Fuck
place
that.
you can get red bag chicken.
Well, yes, but there are other places you can get fried chicken breast,
Fuck
but
them other
or I
places.
make your own.
No, Brian. Red bag chicken.
Yeah.
There's something about the special seasonings on it.
Well, that's what was funny is the woman was like, "Well, we could, she's like, I could just get chicken," and the woman on the phone's like, "Oh hell no," and I was like, okay, there's only like 7 or 8 per bag. Like that's
that's
not
one
that
serving
much
for a woman here on the phone.
No, I'm just saying it's like that's not that much chicken to do yourself. I could see like if you were doing like hey, buy 8 or 9 bags of this, like okay, fine, but it's not that much.
I do like some
But
red bag chicken.
yeah, I do too.
Speaking of chicken, because red bag chicken reminds me of Chick-fil-A, and I'm circling back.
All right.
Well, for one, your boys got a clean bill of health for my
Good.
my colonoscopy.
Excellent.
Yeah, have you had the pleasure, Brian?
No,
Okay,
no,
all
not
right.
yet.
I'm just gonna tell you that the preparation is a million times worse than the actual procedure.
Yeah, that's what I've
Yeah.
heard.
Now, the prep
Yeah.
sucks, asshole.
Right.
Like I took the day off. I couldn't eat. Although you can eat Jello.
Oh,
You can eat
good.
Jello, but
Yeah.
not red or purple Jello.
Right.
Okay.
Which makes sense because they don't.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
can.
They're like, oh shit, he's bleeding. Oh no, it's just
Yeah.
fucking
Oh, he
strawberry.
just had. Right.
So
Like, did this guy just eat beets and red
yeah,
Jello?
exactly. So it was probably about noon on the day I was, beginning my fast. I hadn't eaten since dinner the night before.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just drinking water and whatever. I'm just like, man, I'm starving. I'm like, I'm gonna run to the store and get some Jello, get some snack
Yeah.
packs.
Right.
It's gonna come back to chicken, trust me.
Okay.
So,
Please tell me they had snack packs like chicken and snack packs.
I mean, oh God. So I find the Jello aisle, and the only Jello that isn't a snack pack that isn't red
Mm-hmm.
is Sour Patch Kids, which I don't want,
Right.
or Fanta Orange.
Nice.
So I'm like, all right. So I grabbed some Fanta and I grabbed just boxes of Jello. I'm like, I'm just gonna make this shit myself.
Right.
I basically smashed that 6-pack of Fanta, and it sucked, by the way. Like
Right.
at home Jello, far superior.
Yeah.
Anywho, so the prep, you'd start drinking the jug.
Mm-hmm.
The first the first segment of my day started at like 5:30, and I had to drink half of it, and that sucked. Obviously, things are a moving. It sucks.
Right. Yeah.
And I just slept on the couch because things are a moving, right?
Right. I just figured you were going to say bathtub.
Yeah, I mean, it might have been a good option. But then the worst part is I had to wake up at 3 in the morning, and you've got 2 hours to finish the other half.
Right.
And trying to choke down that much in that short amount of time, dude.
Does it taste bad, or is it just it was a lot of liquid?
It's a lot of liquid. It's salty because it's full of electrolytes and shit. And they give you a flavor packet,
right?
But it still tastes like shit. Like even the pharmacist was like, I recommend you make this day before and make it as cold as you can because it takes the flavor away.
Oh, okay.
You know? So I'm also
Fair enough.
freezing because I've got no calories and I'm drinking this ice cold fluid.
Sure,
And
yeah.
dude, I was so close to just puking. And then,
Hmm.
Michelle takes me to the hospital, gets, scoped. And I had to
Yeah.
have her drop me off at the door because I'm like, I'm gonna shit my pants, man.
Right.
like it was
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
And then I just sat in the bed for hours because they're like, oh, we need you here at 7 something. Your procedure's not till 10 though.
Yeah, of course.
And,
They got to get all your
yeah,
paperwork and blah, blah.
everything, yeah.
Right.
But like no joke, once it's time, it's like they just they wheel you in, and then it's like,
Mhm.
okay, here's a nice warm blanket because it's super cold in the
Sure.
endoscopy unit.
Yeah.
And like, here's a nice warm blanket. All right, fetal position. Here, get up on this little pillow. Your ass is out, and I'm waking up. Wow, I'm waking up. This is great, and it was over. Right. So
Right.
here's where the chicken comes in. So they're like, you're.
They stuff you full of
Yeah, it was
chickens.
crazy.
You get-
They
yeah.
sent me all the pictures too. Put it in.
Yeah. Ah!
Like those the rubber chickens that make the noises. They're just shoving them in me.
Yep. Like, see that camera over there? You've been cocked.
Hey. So you're not allowed to drive, which is fine. Although it was weird. I felt perfectly fine coming out of anesthesia.
Well, it's probably because, in case you still need to hang your ass out the window, it's probably good to
Maybe,
drive
yeah.
too.
But we're leaving the hospital, and I'm like, it's noon, maybe 1, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I am starving.
Right.
I'm wearing like sweatpants, and like I got my hospital gear on,
Yeah.
and I'm like, let's just go to like Chick-fil-A because it's right by the house, and then we'll go home.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and I'm fucking starving, Brian. So I get the
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A deluxe, I get the large fry, I get the large sweet tea. I'm like,
Mhm.
kale crunch. I don't know what that is. I want it.
Okay.
And it would end up being a side salad, delicious. I smash
Oh,
everything. Go out to the
yeah.
kitchen. There was chocolate chip cookies. I had like 4 chocolate chip cookies.
Right.
I was
Right.
like, oh god, I feel so much better. I'm
Yeah.
like, let me look at this paperwork that they sent home with me. And it's like the first thing you read is like, well, don't drive and all this. And then it's like, you should wait an hour before you eat. And you should then start with water. And
Uh-oh.
I'm just like deep throating a chicken sandwich. I don't even know if I tasted it.
Probably
I was
not.
so
Yeah.
hungry.
Well, I mean, you made it really cold first, so you
Oh
wouldn't
yeah,
taste it.
accurate.
Right. Yeah.
But
This is how I'm eating everything from now on.
yeah, so just hindsight. Hindsight. It's hilarious.
I see what you. That's literally what they
Yeah.
did was say.
Yeah, seriously, anyone who's got there got to go through this, like the prep sucks. But the
Right.
procedure, it's like you don't even you just go to sleep.
Well, yeah, 'cause they knocked out
Yeah,
for
just
it.
knock you
Yes.
out. And like like I was introduced to the anesthesiologist. He's like, "Hey, I'm blah blah blah. I'm gonna help you take a nap." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I'm laying in this bed under these warm blankets and like with my ass out and shit. And I
Yeah.
see the doctor walk in who's gonna do the procedure, and I'm like, where's the anesthesia guy? Like,
Yeah.
do they know I'm awake? And then I was just out,
Yeah.
But for a moment, I'm like, wait a minute, why is he here? Where's the other guy? I need to go to
Yeah.
sleep for this.
Please.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it kind of fucked me up for a second there.
Change of plans, Mr. High.
Yeah, gonna be wide awake for this one. Enjoy the ride.
Wide open and wide awake. Actually, instead of the fetal position, we're going to need you to get on your hands and knees and present.
Exactly. Bark like a dog.
Yeah. Can you grab each of your buttocks and pull? It's funny. Speaking of buttocks, I saw something the other day. I forgot what it was, and they were talking about. It was some science. It was, I don't remember. It was for a medicine or whatever, or some anyway. But the word buttocks was used in it, and I was like, at this point, can't we just say butt? I mean, listen, buttocks is hilarious.
Buttocks is hilarious.
I much prefer it to, but it's like, I feel like butt could just be the accepted scientific term.
Oh, for sure.
I feel like we don't need to use buttocks anymore. Like, if you want to sound scientific, use, gluteal muscles or something along those lines, right? But otherwise, it's like, I think we can all just use butt now. Like, I feel like unless you're writing for a comedy purpose, I feel like, buttocks just feel so old and stuffy.
I mean, what if it
You
was
know,
like, what, I don't know what the prescription was, but it's like, side effects may include drowsiness, dizziness, hair loss, asshole rot. Be like, wait,
yeah,
what did he say?
you heard us.
That's right, asshole rot.
So right, like, hold on, we need to talk about this first. I'm not comfortable with this asshole rat thing.
Is this a technical term? Yeah,
It's
actually,
like,
yes.
remember that guys, that one medicine I'm on for my sugar, Jardians, where it's like one of the potential major side effects is like an infection of the taint.
Good times.
And it can be fatal.
Yeah, it's because you just go lay in traffic.
Yeah. So I was like, wait a minute, let's talk about this for a minute.
I mean,
Like,
speaking of prescription commercials, can I tell you what my favorite one is? Because I see it on, I think it's Hulu, because I have the ads all the time.
yeah, me too.
I
Yep.
think it's I don't remember the drug now, but it's basically something to do with like IBS or loose bowel or whatever.
Yeah.
And the fucking woman opens up her minivan and her driver's seat's just a toilet, and that makes me
Yeah.
laugh every time.
Yeah. My favorite one is for was it the shingles vaccine, to where it's like, I love riding a bike. Shingles doesn't care.
Yeah, right.
That's my favorite, because it just reminds me of different times when, I've watched stuff on the Weather Channel or something, and somebody will be like, oh, I thought I could drive through the water. It's like flooding doesn't care. Like, I just love the harshness of it.
I mean, it's amazing.
I mean, it's accurate too. Shingles doesn't give a fuck if you want to, go to your kid's ballet recital or not. Shingles, shingle.
You know what else doesn't care? Because the harshness is what made me think of this. Maury Povich. I was mindlessly scrolling through TikTok yesterday, and do you remember when you used to do episodes and people were like afraid of shit?
Yes.
Yeah. So this woman is like holding onto his hand, like white knuckling, and she's like crying. And he's like,
similar to you the other
yes.
day, right?
That was me holding on to my Chick-fil-A Deluxe.
Oh, I was talking about during your procedure. The doctor's like, sir, we're going to need you to let go. I need my hand.
Like, no, I need a hug. Get over here.
Yeah. Like, not from this angle.
But she's like holding on to more, and he's like, hey, you got to let me go. And she's just like, no. She's apparently afraid of olives, of all things.
Yeah.
And then Maury's just is like, bring out the olives. And this guy comes off this huge jar and she just takes off screaming and running.
Yeah. He's like, look in my hands. My hands are
He's
olives.
got him on his fingertips.
Yeah.
But just the way he was like, bring out the olives. It's the fucking greatest. Wow. What an asshole.
Maury in his, no fucks given.
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, Cotton Ball Man was the greatest.
I don't think I've seen that.
Dude, this lady was afraid of cotton balls for some reason.
Yeah.
And this fucking guy comes out, and he's head to toe covered in cotton balls. He looks like a comic book villain.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it up for our listeners. Cotton Ball Man, because I know if I put it in, oh yeah, there it is.
Wow.
Yeah. You should do yourself a favor, Brian, and look it up.
All right.
Because Cotton Ball Man, and if you ever get an opportunity, just watch the video, because it's ridiculous.
All right. Oh my God! Wow, this looks like something that would have been a villain on like the early seasons of like Power Rangers or something like that.
For sure, right?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and obviously she ran around screaming, I believe.
Wow. Yeah, so his idea was to use exposure therapy to get her to overcome her thing, because Maury's a psychologist.
I really think his idea was, let's terrify these weirdos and get some good ratings.
Yeah, of course. Oh, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Fucking Cotton Ball Man.
Jeez. It's wild, isn't it though? Like what people are afraid of.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's like so much of it, and I mean it's a phobia, which is of course it never makes sense, but it's just amazing when you see some of the, because it's like, why would you be afraid of a cotton ball? It can't hurt you.
Like I don't think I have anything that's like bizarre that I'm afraid of.
Yeah, I mean my biggest phobia would be driving.
Right.
I'm sure not alone on that. I'm part of a subreddit of people that that are like not drivers. So, but because it's a phobia, it's not a rational situation because, for the most part, you're safe in a car.
Yeah.
Yeah, there can be an accident, but they're rare compared to, other things. But
sword fighting.
but it's like, yeah, but it's like people that are afraid of like mice. It's like a mouse is generally not going to hurt you.
Yeah.
A rat is a different story. Rats can be filthy little buggers.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But a mouse, it's just like, like I remember years ago at the video store when I caught a mouse that was just a field mouse, just a little tiny one, and I just scooped it up in an amaray, and took it outside and let it go in the field. And the people I was working with, the two girls I was working with, were literally like up on the counter, and I was like, it's a little fucking mouse. You're way bigger than this thing.
You could punt this thing and it would die immediately.
Yeah, it's like, but I get it. It's like, look at spiders and little tiny spiders that scientifically generally can't hurt us. Occasionally there might be some wacky
Australian huntsman.
Yeah, those are usually
that'll
like
fuck you up.
Yeah, most of any Australian spider is usually bigger than me.
It's got Crocodile Dundee hat on.
Yeah, of course. drinking a Foster's,
eating a bloomin' onion.
Yeah, of course, as you do in Australia.
As you do,
yeah.
as is tradition.
Right. But it's just like when you're looking at the proportional difference, it's like you realize you can just stomp this thing.
Oh yeah.
You can't, like, you can generally kill this thing before it can even move.
Like a mice will give me a start because you see it like dart and you're like, the fuck, But I mean, once you're like, oh, it's a mouse, I'm just like, yeah, you little fucker. You're so lucky I don't have something to murder you with right now.
Yeah. Like I'm creeped out by stuff. Like we used to have what were they, millipedes or whatever remember that basement in the basement,
silverfish and shit like that.
Yeah, we'd have those and those creep me out, but I'm like, I'd still just get rid of them.
You still execute them. Yeah.
But it's like most bugs don't like, maggots I'm not real big fan of either.
They're gross, but I mean,
Yeah. But again, it's like they're not really gonna do anything to you. I'm more afraid of stuff that's going to hurt. Like we had a bat inside the house one time. That freaked me out because those things, it wouldn't stop. It's just flying around and all this. Plus, again, a bat can carry rabies and various other shit.
I'm just picturing the great outdoors. Got a laundry basket on your head and shit.
Yeah, dude, it's freaky as shit to have a bat in your house because it's trying to find its way out, but it doesn't know how to get out, basically. And so we got it. It was in our living room, and then we got it onto the porch, and it kept just flying around. And we had the front door open, and
it's like, for the love of God, get out of here.
Taking the broom, kind of trying to push it toward the door when it would get near, but it just keeps flying in circles, and eventually it finally went outside, and it was, but it's freaky as shit. And like I said, a bat can carry disease, so there is at least an inherent threat there. But most likely the bat's not going to attack us. Most of the time, the bat's trying to get the hell out of there.
For sure.
Yeah. But it's just funny, like some of these shows, though, that, like you said, like this, like cotton balls or olives or whatever.
Yeah, like irrational fears don't make sense to me.
Yeah. Well, and they shouldn't, right? I mean, that's
why they're irrational.
Right. It's just crazy what our brains can, lie to us about, that there's some danger from an olive. And it was like, okay, well, just don't eat them. There you go. Problem solved. It's generally, olives are not usually a food snuck into other foods. Cotton ball is a different story, though.
Yeah.
I guess.
I don't know.
The only way a cotton ball is really going to hurt you is if you're swallowing them.
I mean, I suppose, or someone's jamming them down into your nose or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just cramming them down your throat or something.
Weird.
Yeah. So, yeah.
What we're saying is Maury's a living legend. Yeah. Or is he dead? I can't remember. I think he's dead.
No, he's still around, I think. Yeah.
What is he scaring people with these days?
Oh, nothing. He retired.
Oh.
Finally.
Scaring him with his old balls hanging out of his shorts in Florida. Is that Cotton Ball Man I see over there?
Like I hear you're afraid of old balls.
Exactly.
Like no, cotton balls. With the hair, they look the
Yeah,
same.
they're pretty white.
Ah,
God damn it, Maury.
like, put those damn things away. Maury, I told you can't wear shorts on TV anymore.
You son of a bitch.
Tuck them in your socks.
Bro, we've been living our lives like fucking Little House on the Prairie for the past few days, up until yesterday.
Oh,
Remember
yeah?
how you're like, hey, can you record on Wednesday? I'm like, I can't. We got to after work shit.
Yeah.
Right. So Sunday night, we're like wrapping up our evening. We did some shit during the day. It was like, oh, let's pop on some TV and relax. And I click it and I get sound. I'm getting no picture. And I'm
boy.
like, what the fuck is this, right? And I squint and I can barely see the picture. So I'm like, all right, let me reset it. I'm doing all this stuff. Well, it turns out the backlighting in my TV went out.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, I'm obviously right now I'm using my computer setup. I have two old TVs in front of me. I could have came down here and moved a TV.
It's all that
It
work,
is,
though.
it is. And Michelle was just like, well, I got that thing coming, and yeah, how about we just go like TV shopping? I go. And she's like later in the week. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Brian, we bought a new TV yesterday.
All right.
That was me. Like anything these days, you can't just buy a video game and play it. You can't just buy a TV and watch it. You have to set everything up. You got to download updates.
Right.
So
look online to see if there's an optimal setting for certain things. Sure. Right.
But Brian, our living room looks so stupid right now.
I assume it's like an 80-inch TV, 8K, all the one of those curved TVs.
Well, we went to Costco because they usually have pretty good prices. And
Yeah.
the TV that died was a 55, I think, or a 50.
That seems right. Yeah, it's 50 or 55, probably.
And
yeah.
I always felt like when you're sitting in that gray chair at the back of the room, the TV was a little small.
It did feel that way, yes.
So I was like, well, we should at least go like 60 or 65.
You start at 80. Always listen, this is 2023, about to be 2024. Like, if you don't have an 80-inch TV, you're way behind.
You're clearly a plebe.
Even if you have to put 3 30-inch TVs together.
I mean, that would be awesome, actually.
Yeah.
But so we're looking at the 60, 65-inch TVs, and they're all beautiful, and they're actually pretty good prices considering the size, and they're all 4K. And
yeah, those TVs have really come down.
I mean, if you want to get one of those OLED TVs, those are the expensive ones right now.
Yeah.
We weren't looking at those out of our price range.
Right. Yeah, for
sure. But then there's this display over here, and it's like the official TV of the NFL. This sale price only for right now. And it was a 70-inch TV.
Right.
But it was like $60 cheaper than the 65 we're looking at.
Oh, really?
And it's like,
interesting.
Why not? And my dumbass didn't measure anything.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think we were going to go like stupid big.
Right, because you've got a stairway on one side
and a hallway
on
the other.
Yeah, so I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
So basically, like I get home, because the screen size is the diagonal.
Right.
So it's not the actual width of the.
Yeah, right.
So I look up the actual width of the TV, and I get home and I measure our TV stand, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna fit, but barely.
Wow, nice.
Dude, as soon as I got it out of the box, I put the feet on it and we hoisted it up and then set it down on the TV stand, and I took 2 steps back. I just started laughing.
Right.
Because it looks so ridiculous.
Right.
But
I bet it looks really nice from that gray chair, I bet.
It does look nice from the gray chair.
Yeah.
I can actually before when I would play video games, if I was sitting on the other end of the couch, I'd be kind of bothered,
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's so far away. But now I'm just like, oh, this is fine.
Yeah. I would think now if you were sitting on the near side of the couch, it might seem a little
the near side is weird. Because you can actually see the perspective shift.
Yeah, that's what I was meaning.
Yeah.
Yep. That's something a lot of people, I've talked about that before. It's like people don't understand that the distance you sit from the TV, our eyes typically can only take in so much.
Oh, yeah.
Anything beyond that creates distortion. So, but the way your living room is, the seating is, is, your room is set up like long.
Yeah.
Whereas most people, their living room is set up in a shorter manner. So they're only sitting like 5 or 6 feet away. And then they get like an 80-inch TV and it's like, oh my God, this thing's giving me headaches.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's just too much, too close, So, yeah.
Like, I legit can't wait for my kids to come over because I didn't tell them anything. I just want to hear their reaction when they walk in.
Right. What you need to do is no sell it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
What's with the TV? But what are you
We
talking
talk
about?
we've
Like,
always
just
had
play
that
it like
TV.
it's the same. Yeah, exactly.
Like, nothing's changed.
Yeah. Like, I've had that TV like 5 years. Like, what,
But I'm sitting here talking about.
You got to make sure you tell Michelle, make sure she's in
Oh,
on
yeah.
it
Oh,
too.
100%. We'll be on board with this.
That way nobody accidentally gives it
Yeah.
away, Yeah.
But so I brought the TV down here just to get it out of the way. But I'm telling people at work today.
I assume you mean the 70-inch.
Yeah, of course. But I'm telling people at work about how stupid my living room looks because what happened. And my one guy I work with's like, oh, he's like, the backlighting. He's like, dude, that's so easy to fix, and it's like a $30 part on Amazon.
Son of
And
a
I was
bitch.
like, really? He's like, oh yeah. He's just like, you just put a blanket on a table, you set it down, screen down, you unscrew some stuff, just watch some videos. It's really easy to do. And I'm like,
yeah, because you don't have to worry about voiding a warranty. It's old enough.
It's so old.
That. Yeah.
And so now I'm like, well, maybe
I mean, you need another monitor.
Well, because this one I have over here, I know no one can see it.
Or hear me out. Bathroom wall.
Well, I mean, this one TV I've had for probably 15 years. Like it's one of those flat screens that's thick as fuck.
Yeah.
And it's like a 720p definition,
That's probably about what I have in my bedroom.
Yeah. Yeah.
God, that thing's got to be, man, yeah, it's probably 12 years old or so. I've had a long time.
Like the definition between the definition difference, because this other TV was Michelle's old TV.
Right.
So it's like when I drag the mouse across, it's like dragging the icon from like, the old TV's like a PlayStation onto like a PlayStation 4,
Right.
It's so weird.
It's all polygon, like polygons on the one, and then it's nice and smooth on the other.
For sure.
Yeah.
So
it's like, wow, I went from Minecraft to.
So now I'm kind of like, well, maybe I'll have to find out what LED backlight can I get, and if I fix it, cool. If I don't, we were gonna get rid of it anyway.
Right.
But now I'm like, oh, maybe I got a project, Brian.
Right. Well, and you got room to lay it on a blanket somewhere.
I got room to fuck around with it.
Yeah. So why not? Especially if it is only like a $30 part.
Yeah, that's what my dude said. Right. I'm like, oh, I haven't looked into it yet, to be fair.
How sad is that though, right? Like that's not even ingrained in us anymore.
Yeah.
Like if that was a fucking console TV in the 80s, the first thought would have been like, oh, can I fix it?
Yeah.
And there weren't YouTube videos on how to do it then. Now we have all the videos of how to fix pretty much anything, and we just don't.
To be fair, I did bring up like, well, maybe we can fix it.
Okay.
But that was also kind of like, well, the TV's been acting goofy, the software's getting weird.
Yeah. You have all that extra space on your TV stand you needed to fill.
Like I got to move the bell painting up because it blocks part of it. It's so stupid looking.
I can't wait to see that.
Oh,
That's great.
like Michelle was just kind of like, I feel like I'm watching a billboard.
Yeah, well, you kind of are. Especially because she usually sits on that.
She's like
that
the close side, yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to probably that way.
But get this. Like when I was coming down the podcast, she was like, I think I'm going to play some Stardew Valley. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, you want me to bring the Switch in? She's like, no, you can just bring the controllers. I'm like, oh, you want to play on the big TV, huh?
Nice. Yeah.
Because, she discovered yesterday, because, I had to fire up the PlayStation, make sure it looked good. And she was like, I wonder what Stardew Valley looks like on this. I'm like, I don't know. Let's find out.
Big.
But she found out that in the settings, you can zoom out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like on the Switch screen, it would suck. But on this big-ass TV, it opens up a bigger
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll have to look at. Well, no, I have mine on an Xbox, so but I'll have to look to
Yeah.
see if I can because that's
Yeah, it's in the
interesting. I didn't know.
settings. You can
Well, it's typical Stardew Valley shit,
yeah.
right? Like, there's people been playing that game for years and they're still discovering things they didn't know about the game.
Yeah, right? Crazy.
Because there's no manual. Well, there is a manual for it. It's called Reddit, basically.
Fair enough.
You know?
Excuse me.
Huh. Interesting though. I haven't fired that game up. I'm so glad that game doesn't work the way Animal Crossing does, or I would have to just start over.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know? At least with this, I just have to dick around for a couple minutes and oh yeah, that's right. This is what I was doing.
Right.
Get the controls, reprogrammed to my muscle memory, basically.
Well, yeah. So it's I never pictured myself buying a giant TV like that, but
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, the biggest TV we've had is the one that's in our living room is about the size of the one you
it's
have.
like 50, 55.
50, 55. I don't remember which it is. Yeah,
Dude,
something like
I
that.
mean,
when we first got that one, it seemed obscene.
Yeah.
But the way our living room is set up, we're much closer to it than, but I can sit all the way out in the kitchen and see that TV really nicely. It's
I mean,
but if it was a 70, it would be even nicer sitting
when
out
I
in the
was
kitchen.
looking at TV, we figured out it was dying, I started looking at prices.
Yeah.
I mean, you could pick up like 65 inches TVs for Walmart for like 3 something. It's crazy how cheap they are.
Well, and if you keep checking Walmart's, they put TVs on clearance a lot that they'll just have them sitting out, in the aisle basically. Especially like, they'll get a shit ton of TVs in at Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And then after Christmas, they'll mark a bunch of TVs down. They had some last year that were that size or bigger, that were like, I saw Samsung like 65-inch TVs, I think, and they were only like $400 or $500.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And Samsungs are usually quite a bit more.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, geez, at the time, I'm like, I'm not in the market for a TV, and even if I was, I wouldn't be that high of a market for a TV.
Right.
Because it's like, God, I can't imagine. Well, like, where am I putting that? I can't put that in my room. It'd be way too much TV for my bedroom.
Nah, you figured it out.
Like,
yeah, get a sunburn from it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm good.
I mean,
but it's like, I got a backup TV sitting over here that's a 30-inch one, but by the time I need it, that one's gonna feel like an old ass TV probably.
Yeah, for sure.
But pixel or definition wise, I think that's a nicer TV than the one I have in my room, but the one in my room's a little bigger. That's why I'm using it.
Fair enough.
But
just take some measurements. We'll figure out a space for you.
Yeah. Well, if I didn't already have, was this thing a 27-inch monitor on this thing, I'd probably have the TV sitting right here as a monitor.
I love having, like, I don't know how big this Michelle's old TV is. It's not as big as like our TV in our living room was, but it's fucking big for it to be a monitor.
Right.
But I don't care. It's great. I love having it as a monitor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, that's the word now too. It's like, if this monitor shits out on me at some point, it's like, I'm not going to buy another monitor. I'm just going to use this other TV I have,
sure.
Basically. Now, if I'm using that TV, that's a different story. But as of right now, I just have a TV sitting here, and it's not worth selling because TVs, the value on them is, you can go buy. I paid $200, I think, for that one. It's like, for $200, you can buy a bigger TV probably now, or if nothing else, you're buying probably a better resolution.
For sure, absolutely.
So no one's going to want to give me $200 for a TV or $100 or whatever, because it's like, I can just go buy another one.
Like, I could just pay a little bit more and get a new one.
Right. Yeah. So that's why it's like, well, I'm not going to bother trying to sell it. I'll just use it.
Ride it into the rocks, man.
Yeah. Well, my mom has the same, like the TV in my bedroom. My mom has the same model of TV in her room because we bought them at the same time.
Right.
And so it's like, if either of them go out, I got a backup TV, so we don't have to worry about buying a new TV.
So ride it into the rocks.
Yeah. So that's, at some point, if I were to upgrade to, current gen system or something like that, at some point I might like a TV, but it's also, I don't have a lot of money, so it's, it's not going to be on my radar for a long time.
Dude, believe me, once I saw that picture, I was like, I need a PlayStation 5, which is not going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. I feel like you need one now,
I feel
though.
like it too. But
Yeah. Pretty sure you
I
do.
mean, if I could ever get this chunk of money that the state's holding on to for me, maybe I'll
Eh,
figure something out. But till then,
right.
fucking
Yeah.
state of Ohio. Actually, I'm driving over to the office tomorrow to talk to them again. Be like, what's going on here? It's
Yeah.
been a long time now.
Yeah. It's like, I feel like you've made considerable money off of my money. Can I have it back now?
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
Drives me crazy, Brian.
Yeah. I hear you.
Ah, man.
I posted the other day about last week was a rough week for like wrestling fans, like WWE
Oh
fans.
yeah.
I don't know if you saw, like Terry Funk died.
I mean, I'm not
And
terribly surprised by that. He was kind of older.
right. Yeah, and he had some bad health off and on. Legend in the business before our time, really. I mean, I really only remember like that run he had with Mick Foley.
Right.
Remember when they did like the dumpster match with New Age Outlaws
Yeah,
and
and he
stuff like
was
that?
like not exactly a young man then.
Ooh, no, not at
Yeah.
all. Yeah, he had like a 50-year wrestling
Bro, he
career
was
from
born
whatever.
in 1944. That
Yeah,
was the end of World War II. The
right.
fuck?
That's exactly it. As soon as they announced the end of the war, he's like, "I'm gonna start wrestling."
Here we go.
um, yeah, long career, but like I said, I'm not real. I've seen some of his matches. I've gone back and watched some that I've heard were considered classics, like some of his stuff with Flair and Dusty Rhodes and stuff, and I can see why. But I know most of his name was made on the hardcore stuff,
Yeah.
like with ECW
Pornhub.
and mixed a lot of it. Yeah. Wait a minute. Well, he was the
Like
funker,
those weird Japanese death matches and shit he did.
Yeah, and I've never. We talked about this last week. I've never been a big fan of that stuff, but it was, it was weird. WWE this week they did a tribute to him, and one of the things they did was there was a tag team match, and they're like, "This is going to be a Terry Funk hardcore match," and then they basically only had like a table spot in the match. They didn't really do anything else
you need
hardcore
some
in the
tax.
match. Yeah, like you need to go. Like if this is you're gonna call this a Terry Funk hardcore match, you need to go batshit crazy.
Wait a minute, Terry Funk was in Quantum Leap.
He was in Roadhouse.
I pulled up like Terry Funk images for our YouTube viewers, and one of the hot links at the top is Quantum Leap. Now I gotta click that.
All right, I didn't know that. I know he was in Roadhouse.
Oh, looks like you might find it shocking. Looks like he played a wrestler.
Oh, that makes sense, I guess. All right, fair enough.
From the episode Heart of a Champion.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay, fair enough. But then, like, was it the next day or 2 days later? A guy by the name of Bray Wyatt passed away. Well, that's his wrestling name. It was, you remember IRS, right?
Oh yeah.
From the 80s.
Yeah.
It's his kid.
Oh, that's a bummer when someone's kid.
Dude's only like 36 years old.
Really?
Yeah, and the rumors that I read was that he had a heart condition that he then got COVID and it made worse, and then he died of a heart attack. I've not seen anything confirm that, but that's the rumors I had read. Because he had been off TV recently, and his dad actually was saying that it looked like he was getting close to being cleared to come back, and then just all of a sudden he was dead.
Wow, that's crazy.
And, dude, WWE does they do vignettes better than anybody. Like tributes and all that kind of stuff. Dude, the tribute they did to Wyatt, like, showed him with different guys that were, friends of his in the business and all this, and different matches and moments from his career. But then they start showing pictures of him with like his kids and his wife, and it's like, oh, come on,
right in the fucking heart.
Me. Oh man, the pictures of him, and I mean, his kids are young too.
I'm sure, because
so
how old he was? 36.
36,
so
I think.
Yeah, his kids are probably super young.
Super young, because he just got married a few years ago. And the kids are since then, basically. I think it's like, oh God, there was one of the commentators, when they came back, he even said something like that. He was kind of like, I was doing good until they showed the pictures of him with his babies, basically. It was like then, and it's like, yeah, that's, or no, it was one of the wrestlers that was doing a tribute to him, and he was kind of doing a promo around it, and because he had a feud with Wyatt a few months ago,
right?
And he's kind of trying to stay in character because he's basically coming out to do a little bit of a tribute and then transition into a promo and then a match. So, he's got to stay in character basically. But then, he sees the pictures of the guy with his kids, and it's like, oh, come on,
Why are you doing this to me, bud?
yeah. It's like I saw all these videos and people posting stories online about why it just apparently he was a real sweetheart of a guy. There was one where he was walking through like a security thing, and these people, fans are outside, and it's a guy and his kid, and the kid calls out to him, and he stops and turns around, and the kid was like, can I get a picture with you? And he was like, yeah, sure. And he actually moves the barricade, comes around the barricade, so that the kid can get it's not like the kid and then he's standing 5 feet back basically.
Yes.
So he came out and kind of gave it, shook the kid's hand, and talked with the dad for a minute and whatever. It wasn't just like the quick picture and then take off. He actually spent a couple minutes and just seemed like a guy who fully appreciated the fans as well as everything, loved the business, all that. It's like, oh man, that was a rough one, because the youth of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
so
Jesus,
when you're like, hey,
dude,
Terry Funk died, I'm like, oh, it's okay.
long career. He was 70 something, whatever. It's like, yeah, not a surprise.
To be fair, like, I don't know who this guy is, but that is sad.
Yeah, but it's like if I told you a wrestler died at 36, you would immediately assume drugs.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or drinking, something like that. But that's, not so much. But yeah. And then was it also Bob Barker died? And Bob Barker, I don't know if you saw, they used to have guest hosts on Raw. And Bob Barker was the host one night, and he played it basically like his character from Happy Gilmore.
Oh, really?
So where he was kind of a smart ass, and like there was I forgot where it was, one of the characters like kind of threatens him, and he punches the guy like twice, and whatever. It was a pretty good episode.
I mean, that's pretty funny.
And of course they mixed in Price is Right type stuff with it. It was actually a pretty fun episode. So, he can tie him to WWE in that regard, but also, I mean, this is the guy who got us all through our sick days as children.
100%.
Right? If you were staying home sick, you had Price is Right.
Absolutely.
On your TV.
I want to see Plinko. I'm here for Plinko, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Plinko and, the Barker babes, or whatever they call them.
Right. And, whenever somebody dies, there's usually people making jokes on Twitter about it. And usually they're very badly timed, like the old too soon stuff. There's one that I saw that I thought was like chef's kiss and doesn't seem disrespectful. And I saw a lot of people posting this, but the one that I grabbed was my man got as close as possible without going over $1.
Yeah,
Legend.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And I saw a bunch of people post something similar, but I was like, that, because he was 99.
Yes. I mean, spay and neuter your pets, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
So, and then one more that is in the like geek realm was Arlene Sorkin died too.
Oh yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, and Arlene Sorkin, for anyone who's not aware, was the Batman the Animated Series. She was the voice of Harley Quinn. She was the original voice of Harley Quinn, we'll say, and her character on a soap opera was actually the physical inspiration for the character Harley Quinn.
That I did not know.
Yeah, she used to be on, oh shit, I don't remember what show it was. I remember watching it as a kid because her voice was weird.
Oh, it sees Days of Our Lives on this one image.
Thank you. Yeah, she played Calliope Jones, I think was her name, or Calliope something. And in a flashback sequence on the show, or a dream sequence, I mean, she's dressed as kind of like a clown. And that is what was the inspiration for the character of Harley Quinn.
Oh, that's funny.
So not only was she the inspiration for it, but she was the original voice of the character too. Because when they cast it, it was like, we have to get her.
Yeah, like this is who this is.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, that was really cool. And she was fantastic as Harley Quinn and, all that stuff. I think she did a couple of the video games too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the voices, it's like, all the Batman animated series voices, they're just...
Oh, man, Andrea Romano just chef's kiss with that show with the casting.
Oh,
yeah. And she did, she's done so many of the DC voice castings that it was like, how do you not get her to do it if you can afford her?
Right.
I'm sure she wasn't cheap, but yeah, I was, so it's like, oh, that's kind of sad that, she passed away too, because it was very much, like I said, just part of the childhood situation. So, and an incredibly popular character.
Oh, for sure.
Easily one of DC's most popular characters in the last 25 years. That character has become probably the most cosplayed character in DC.
There's a very good chance of that.
Yeah, that and Poison Ivy are the two I've seen the most, but yeah. But still, like, geez. Just left and right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was cool watching like SmackDown, because SmackDown was the first wrestling show on after Wyatt and Terry Funk died, basically, like after both had died. And so they did tributes through the night, and a lot of the wrestlers were wearing like an armband or something, or did something that Bray Wyatt did, or referenced something. Like one of the guys had his tag team partner on his shoulders in that match, and he was spinning around. I don't know if you remember, like Terry Funk used to do that with a ladder.
Oh, yeah.
He'd hold it up and put it like over his head and then spin in a circle and hit other guys in the ring. And the guy did that with his tag team partner, so it was a little bit of, but that was in the hardcore match. I'm like, go get a fucking ladder.
Get a ladder, you nerd.
It's a hardcore match. What are you doing? And it's in tribute to Terry Funk. Do his spot. Like, what are you doing? So anyway, yeah. Like, very sad though, especially Wyatt. That's so young. And especially having babies, that sucks that they're gonna barely remember their dad, So
I mean, maybe they'll take up the mantle or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, their dad and their uncle, yeah, like I said, their dad was IRS. Their uncle was oh shit, I forgot his wrestling name now. Bo Dallas. That's what he went by. And he had a little bit of a career with WWE, but it didn't really pan out for him. But it's in the family.
Yeah, there you go.
It's in the family. And the cool part is they're gonna have a bunch of cool shit they can go back and watch.
Oh, for sure.
Of their dad.
Yeah.
A lot of that, and especially if they collect the tributes and stuff that others have said. It's just most of the wrestlers aren't just like undeniable talent. Most of them are like, he was a sweetheart of a man, and that's what you want to see.
Like, he was just a good guy.
Yeah, he was a good dude. Yeah. Not just legend in the business, and that's all you get. It's like, okay, great. So he was good at his business, but was he a shit human? Like,
yeah, like, what are we doing here, guys?
Like, I don't know what's going on, man. So, oh shit, what was it? So, a few weeks ago we talked about weird game controllers, right?
Oh, yeah, we did.
Have you seen the gaming chair for Starfield? That it's going to be coming out at Gamescom this year, and it's going to be raffled off.
Nope, but I'm looking it up right now.
Okay. Yeah, you for sure should, because it's wacky. Microsoft and mattress band Temper have teamed up to create a gaming chair themed around Starfield, which is, a huge potential title. I think it launches soon. Today? This week? I don't remember. Anyway, it says the Dream Chair, as it's called, sport what Temper calls a NASA punk vibe. This chair's not for sale, though, so it's not too, don't get too excited. But this chair has a joystick on each armrest, so you can maneuver the chair how you like it without much effort. It's made to look like a spaceship cockpit, and certainly has some style and looks like it could exist in the game. In addition to the chair itself, there's a center console with a bunch of buttons and a big screen. Says, wouldn't it be fun to play Starfield like this? The chair's on display in Cologne, Germany at Gamescom right now. It'll move to Saturn Experience store next week. After that, it will move to the Temper store in Westfield, Stratford in October 23, where shoppers can sit down and enjoy its comfy glory. And then at the end of the year, it's going to be raffled off. All the proceeds going to charity.
Like, I might be wrong, but the pictures I'm seeing of this, it does not look comfy to me.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Like, it just looks like a chair. It doesn't really look like, I mean, the experience will probably be the cool part of it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, maybe it'll feel like you're in a thing, but I don't know. It's not going to necessarily feel like a cockpit because it's not really enclosed.
Yeah, I mean, great. It's got like shit around it. I'm surrounded by buttons and electronics right now.
Yeah. I feel like you need to win this though for your living room.
Yes.
You know? Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man.
Oh, I was wrong. Starfield launches on September 6th. So,
You mean Space Skyrim?
yeah. Um, I just thought this was funny because it's, like I said, we were talking about gimmicky, like the Steel Battalion and stuff like that.
It's just, it's not I wish it'd be cool if you could like use the controls for a game. But it seems like the joysticks are just so you can move the chair around and shit.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know.
It seems kind of, I don't know, man.
Right. Because really, the way I see this is it should have a thing that, where it'll house a system. It would have a big monitor involved so that you could straight up play the game in the chair and feel like you're playing in the game while in the chair. Yeah.
Because it kind of looks like that rectangles of Starfield and Tempered. Like that might be some sort of bizarre monitor.
Yeah, I think it is.
Like a long, thin monitor.
But I don't know if that's included.
Right.
Because it doesn't say anything about a monitor. I mean, it says it has a center console, or the center console has a bunch of buttons and a big screen. So, okay, yeah, it does have a screen. But the buttons, they just look like they're buttons as though you were in a spaceship, not like this is where you play the game from, like you were saying.
Yeah, like, okay, bunch of buttons. What do they do? They just, like, if I click it, does it light up? Or if I click it, am I, doing an orbital strike somewhere?
Yeah. It probably is an anal probe. That's probably what they're all for. They just control various speeds.
That's that silver knob on the handle there. That's the anal probe.
You sit right there. Yeah. Yeah, that's actually the middle of the seat. That's not the arm.
Exactly. It's like the pegs on G.I. Joe vehicles. It keeps you in place.
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I would be curious to see what this thing auctions off for.
It's going to be dumb.
Yeah, because it's a one of a kind.
Some idiot's just going to want it like in their basement corner and be like, oh, look, I have the Starfield chair.
What's funny is by the time this chair gets raffled off, I'm curious to see if people are still talking about Starfield.
Truth.
Right? Because I mean, I've read a little about the game, but it's like I don't know what the long term on the game's going to be. So we'll see.
We shall see.
Comes out September 6th.
I mean, I'm more amped for Baldur's Gate 3 on console.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you. I'd rather play that too. Don't get me wrong. This is a game that, as it comes out, and if people are really like, dude, then sure, maybe. Yeah.
But, I'm definitely not going to do anything about this temper chair.
Don't lie, you are too. Have you started watching Ahsoka?
I watched one episode and then our TV died.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. Yeah. What'd you think of it?
I mean, I like it so far. Obviously, despite the fact I am a Star Wars fan, I never really watched the Clone Wars or Rebels. And I know there's a lot of references to that.
So much. Yeah. So much.
I kind of feel like I did myself a disservice by not watching those shows.
They're pulling in a lot of Knights of the Old Republic stuff too.
Oh, really?
They're making that stuff canon.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah, because there's some stuff that is very reminiscent of Knights of the Old Republic. Even if it's maybe not exactly Knights of the Old Republic, there's things that have little like nods to it and stuff. So that's the stuff that's really been fun, I think, in a lot of these series is that they're pulling in bits from things that people have been like super fans of for a long time.
It's almost like they're doing what Marvel did.
Yeah.
Weird.
Right. Yeah.
It's what they should be doing.
I haven't watched the third episode yet. I watched the first two, but I haven't watched the third one yet. So I'm a touch behind and trying to avoid any spoilers. But yeah, I really enjoyed the one thing that bugs me is I mentioned this to Angry Ginger for the Star Wars podcast that he does, is that usually when they bring a character to life in a Star Wars thing, it feels like it's its own thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like when you see Cad Bane, he doesn't just feel like he feels like an alien. When you see the pictures we've seen of Thrawn, he doesn't just look like a dude in blue face. There's something that feels like legit about the character.
Yeah.
Like that's what they really are. And oh god, Hera on this show, Hera Syndulla, she's the green woman.
Okay.
She feels like, I just feel like it's a human in green face paint. It doesn't feel like,
Doesn't feel like an
to
alien
me,
to you.
yes, like her motion. I don't know what it is, but there's something about it that doesn't feel. I don't know. It's weird to me. It's almost the difference between, when they were doing the fully CG stuff versus the practical effects, and the CG stuff just doesn't. It just doesn't land.
Oh
But
man, we like watching this channel on YouTube. It's called Corridor Crew, and they do VFX artist reacts every week.
Oh, okay.
And they were just talking about I don't even remember this movie, Gemini Man. It's a Will Smith movie.
Oh yeah, I know.
And there's a scene in Gemini Man that they show, and it turns out the whole thing is done digitally, and you never would guess.
Is it the scene where he fights himself?
No. It's just like like some scene of a motorcycle, and the guy like actually worked on the movie, was sitting on the couch with these guys, and he was like, "Yeah, this whole thing everything's digital." And it doesn't look like it.
That's wild.
So it just shows you where the tech is,
Right. Well, like in Star Wars, the stuff just felt too slick, is what it was.
Oh yeah,
the practical effect stuff just feels better in Star Wars.
Yeah. I think when they make the digital effects kind of dirty, it feels more real.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
The prequels, or the original trilogy that George Lucas decided to redux. That all just looks like trash to me.
Right. But like even in Marvel, people have criticized how a lot of the CG in Marvel it's too computer. But it's like the woman who's playing Hera, I think she's doing a great job in the role.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know what it is. It just feels like a human in the role. It doesn't feel like, I don't know why, but it takes me out. It doesn't feel as, and literally that's all any of them are. It's just a person with paint on their face.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know why that one just feels feels that way versus feeling like when you look at Ahsoka, she's got orange and white paint on her face, but I don't feel the same about that character. I don't know why. There's something different that's weird to me about it. So, because every time she's on screen and talks and stuff, I'm just like, this just feels disjointed from the rest of it.
You don't belong.
Yeah, like you're a phony. But like I said, yeah, she's a good actor and everything. It's not that it takes me out of that, but just the visual part of it for some reason does. But I really enjoyed the show otherwise, you know. And the new seeing Ray Stevenson is I don't remember the character's name, but the Darth Vader character in this basically.
Oh yeah. Shit, I don't remember his name either now.
Starts with a B, I think. But anyway, yeah,
Bob.
him and his apprentice are kind of interesting, and then they've got that Inquisitor with them. So this will be, I think it's an interesting setup so far. Hopefully it stays good. And also, like, can't wait for, Thrawn to actually be introduced.
Wouldn't it just be a bummer if it was like the last episode and you're just like, he just turns around and it's like, da-da-da-da!
I'm not, that is exactly what I expect. That's what I've expected. I think I mentioned it on here. That's full on what I expect, is that we don't see him in the show until the final episode, because it sets up another season, or it sets up maybe something on the Mandalorian or something along those lines. I would not be shocked, because the two things everybody wants going into this, we want Thrawn and Ezra.
Right.
Because of how things, ended on Rebels. So it's like people want those two on the screen, because, of all the characters from Rebels, the crew, we've now seen on screen all of them except, well, technically, Ezra's in like a hologram form in the second episode, but that's not I don't count that.
That don't count.
Right. So we haven't technically seen him or Thrawn, and that's the money stuff right there. So either that or the last episode will be when we see Ezra.
Right.
Like we'll see Thrawn earlier and we won't see Ezra until the very end, kind of a thing. That wouldn't shock me either. But either way, good stuff. I'm enjoying it.
So that is all that matters.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Because I was like told you before, I was super excited for the series, especially as they were showing more and more like, hey, there's going to be all these Rebels references in here. And I'm like, ooh, and Chopper, when Chopper's on the screen, make sure you pay attention, because if you really pay attention to Chopper, he's actually like, even though it's all in tones, you can basically tell what he's saying.
All right, fair enough.
And he's sassy. So sometimes there's kind of jokes built into
what a sassy little bitch.
Yeah, that's why I love that. That's he's one of my favorite droids, because he's not C-3PO.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, my favorite droid, if they ever do it, will be that one from was it that Dr. Aphra has? I can't think of the one that's like the murder droid, but he looks like C-3PO. I can't think of he's like 001 or 00 or something like that. He was in the comics. I don't know if they've had him on live screen or live footage yet.
I mean, my favorite one was from the Knights of the Old Republic. It was like HK-10, it was Hunter Kill or something. It was an assassin droid. It just called all the crewmates meat bags and shit. I've always thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. The one I'm talking about is constantly talking about torturing humans and stuff. It's great.
Yeah, it's funny.
So I love when they give droids like really off personalities. They're they're quite fun. So all right. So yeah, I'm trying to think. I think that's all I got.
Yeah.
Unless you got something else, let's move into our.
I mean, I guess the only thing we say, we went to the German American Fest and it was fun as hell.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. It looked like it was a good
had some
time.
beers, had some good food, had a cigar, and then we left. It was great.
I saw some shots from Friday there. Holy shit, was there a lot of people there?
You know my game. I don't go there at night anymore.
Yeah.
Although, dude, I'm not gonna lie. Walking around, I was like, I could really go for a Jägermeister. I didn't though, because driving.
Sure.
But I mean, I have it over there. I should really transport it out to my freezer in my garage.
Oh yeah, right. Or get another fridge for downstairs.
Dude, if my electrical in this house wasn't so shit, I would love that. For two reasons. One, for Jaeger. Two, because I could better control the temperatures of my fermenting shit.
Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't even think of something like that.
Like the stuff I'm making right now, the hard seltzer, it's ironically and perfectly the temperature I need in the basement for it to ferment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm like, it gets so cold in here in the winter, and especially on the other side. Yeah. I'm like, it might get cold enough I can lager stuff.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Nice.
Anywho,
you gonna try to be Coors Light over there?
Fuck yeah, the mountains are blue, baby. But it's not gonna be mountains. It's gonna be balls.
Wait,
when the balls are blue.
That's how you know you can drink it. Balls are blue. Better have two. Like, I don't know if this really works.
What sort of marketing is this, bud?
You did this yourself, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, I did.
So?
What's your point?
Yep.
Are we queuing a W in it, Brian?
Yeah, I was just double checking. I don't have anything else. So.
Well, last week we asked y'all if animals could swear, which species would swear the most?
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie, good old Stephanie Menard. She says cats or raccoons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. I'd love to see a cussing raccoon, though. There's just something about the idea
of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, yeah. Fair enough. He's not really a raccoon, though.
Yeah, whatever. He looks like one.
Yeah. I know.
Our buddy Jason, he says humans.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not wrong.
It's not wrong, yeah.
Kristen, she says definitely cats.
All right.
Diamond, top fan, and from a couple days ago, birthday boy,
Oh
Big
yeah.
Dev says,
Yep.
I feel like the answer is dogs. It'd be like having a 3-year-old swear without actually knowing what the word means. Just that people like it and makes them happy. So dogs would constantly swear.
All right, so what I'm picturing is you have a dog that's just constantly using words that don't fit the situation.
Right.
Right? Like it's throwing it in there, you know, or like when somebody gets a word of the day calendar and they try to like ham fist that word into somewhere it doesn't belong, you know. That's what I'm picturing. I like
Hey
that.
boy, you like your food? Yeah, it's real fuck. Wait,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
God
like what?
damn it.
Like, all right, let's talk about the word
Yeah.
fuck. This is not how you use
Yeah,
it.
let me break this down for you.
Yeah, get out the chalkboard.
Amy, she says cats for sure. Dogs might
Yeah,
because they don't know what the words mean. Cats
that
just know.
yeah. I feel like cats are going to be like laser precise with their cuss words. They're going to know how to use them and what, you know, when to use them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Diamond, reclaiming her diamond. Top fan Kiki says chihuahuas.
Oh yeah, maybe. Those things are little feisty little shits.
Right. And then coming in last but not least here is Heno. He says birds with Tourette syndrome enhancement.
I feel like quite a few birds actually just might. Like you really hear some birds when they get
Oh
squawking,
yeah,
you know, and it almost sounds like you're being cussed out by them.
I believe it. Like because we got feeders up. Sometimes when I'm out in the yard doing shit, the birds will just be up in the trees like. "Wah! Wah!"
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Like my sister used to have one that was, I don't remember what kind of bird it was, and it was just like when it would get going, I mean it really almost sounded like it was cussing you out. I mean it wasn't using words, but it was like whoa whoa whoa, I don't know what language you're speaking, but that sounds pretty harsh over
Dial
there,
it
you
down
know.
there, buddy.
Yeah, like Jesus, there's kids around.
That's what we had on face page.
All right.
We have the ever rare Instagram answer
All right.
from our pal across the pond, Short Sigh. He says male praying mantises. While in the bliss of post nut euphoria, I have no doubt they'd scream, "Ah, fuck!" as their chosen mate bites their head off.
Yeah, that seems fair.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah. Right. Or anything that like dies right after it you know, mates or anything along those lines, especially if they don't know that that's what happens.
Yeah, exactly right.
You know, kind of like when the realization or this like, you know, like okay, all I got to do is not lay my eggs and I'll survive. And then you do it and you're like, "Ah, fuck. What am I
Like,
doing?"
son of a bitch.
Well, I had a good swim.
Had a good swim.
I was just keeping it with salmon, I guess. Yeah.
Oh god, but that's what I got.
All right. I don't have any on Twitter that I saw. So Cheeto says the honey badger. Not only does honey badger not give a fuck, honey badger uses the word fuck and other swear words in masterful symphony of profanity. Why does the honey badger do this? Because that motherfucker can, motherfucker.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. By the way, symphony of profanity. That's a good comedy album name right there.
It's yeah, exactly. You got to like kind of duplicate the Symphony of Destruction cover.
Yeah.
Yes.
With fill in the blank comedian that swears a lot.
Yes. Which, by the way, I've been using the Spotify DJ. I don't know if we've ever talked about that.
I think we quickly talked
Okay,
about
I've
it.
been using it a little more because it is fun to see what it plays. And
Yeah.
it played for me the other day, Metalachi, and they
Okay.
covered Countdown to Extinction, and it was terrific.
Oh,
Yeah,
really? I don't think I've heard. I've heard them before, but I don't think I've heard
it
that one.
was great.
Nice.
Anyway,
How can you go wrong with metal and mariachi?
exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Metalachi.
Mariachi. Hmm. All right. Oh shit! I forgot to go through and look for more. Well, we only have 4 for you.
Oh my God, Brian, what am I gonna do?
Jesus, I
I'm
don't
gonna
know,
pick
but
number
God.
4.
Here.
That's what I'm gonna do.
All right. What's a food you hated but learned to love after having it prepared right?
Oh, that's a good one, and I know my answer.
Really?
Asparagus.
Oh, that is a really
Because
good
as a
answer.
young man, it was trash to
Yeah.
me. And then I
Okay.
discovered the art of roasting it or grilling it. And oh
Mm-hmm.
boy.
Different world,
Yeah.
man. That's why every time somebody tells me they don't like asparagus, that's the first thing I do is like, how have you had it
Well,
prepared?
we boil it for hours.
Yeah, that's usually what it is.
Yeah.
Ugh. I cook the living hell out of it. And it's like, oh, so when you're eating it, it's all like slimy and
Yeah,
gross.
it's the
That's why.
mush.
Like, let me tell you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing people do to me with Brussels sprouts. Oh, you just haven't had them right. I'm like, yeah, I've had them with bacon and butter. Like, I've had them roasted. I've had them fried. I've had them deep fried. I've had them, with balsamic drizzle over it. It's like I've had them a lot of different ways. And you can attest, I will try
Have you
them.
had them on a train?
I have
Have,
not, nor have I had them on a plane
have you had?
or in a boat or with a goat. Do not like Brussels, Sam. I am. Yeah, in the same vein, the first one that pops into my head is spinach
Oh, yeah. That's a good one too.
because a lot of it as a kid was out of a can and it's just slimy and gross,
But dude, that's
right?
what made
Like,
Popeye strong. So,
yeah, I know. Well, it literally was Popeye brand most of the
oh
time.
yeah.
So, but it's like once you have it like wilted or having it in other dishes or in salads even, whatever. It's like, oh, I actually really like
Oh yeah.
spinach. I just don't like it to where it's all like, squishy and gross basically. Like a little bit of wilt is fine, but it's like I don't want it as a side dish typically,
Like the only time I want my
unless it's like with greens.
the only time I want my spinach squishy and gross is if it's like creamed, because that's fucking
Yeah,
delicious.
I'm not a big fan of cream
Oh
spinach,
man,
but
but it's got
yeah,
to be done right. It's got
fair.
to be done right.
Yeah, but I absolutely love it in like if you throw it in with like a like Alfredo or something like that, just wilt a little spinach down in that or whatever. I'm all for it. I buy it quite a bit and use it in different stuff I
Oh
make.
yeah.
So yeah, that one's one that really jumped out to me. But I was trying to think if there's any others I could think of. But those, yeah, asparagus is a great answer though. Um,
Like I'm a fan of most foods, so it's kind of a hard question for
yeah.
me.
Well, I was trying to think of something like I didn't like as a kid that I really like now, and there isn't. I've actually more gone the other way, which is something that like there's more foods probably that I loved as a kid that I'm not as big of a
Oh
fan of
yeah,
now because I've
absolutely.
had better food or
Yep.
whatever, or had it prepared better
I
now. But I always
I
liked it.
will tell you an example of that immediately. There
All
was
right.
one day we were, going grocery shopping, and we're just like, let's just. I don't want to go home and make food because it's late, so let's grab dinner foods for the future, and we'll just grab something. We'll
Yeah.
just kind of each of us is gonna fend for ourselves. And I was like
Mm.
looking at like the freezer shit, and I'm like, oh, you know what? Motherfucking banquet pot pie, baby.
Oh
And
God,
I
yeah.
heated that bitch up, and I got into it, and it was so gross.
I'm also convinced that those have gotten significantly
I'm
worse.
sure. But
Yeah.
I felt sick after, like, the whole thing
Yeah.
experience was not good.
Yep. Yeah. Good call though, because we used to eat those a lot because poor
Yeah.
and we're cheap,
Yeah.
So you could buy, you know, two or three for each person. They were like 50 cents back then or a
Like
buck, something like that. They were dirt
like
cheap.
bro, I bought two of them cuz one of them was a sausage gravy and biscuit one.
Okay.
And that's still in my freezer cuz that one I had that one night like fucked me up like mentally and
Right.
emotionally.
Yeah. That's totally
Yeah.
understandable. Yeah. That's a really
Yeah,
good
that's definitely
example of
something
that.
from my childhood. I was like, I love these. Oh, it's
Yeah.
horrible.
I liked them a lot as a kid too. And then I hit a point to where I was like, I don't ever want these again. And because I had just had them quite a
Oh
bit.
yeah.
And then, now I won't buy those. I have bought like, was it Marie Callender, I think has pot pies, and they're okay, but they're still not as good as getting a fresh
Dude,
baked pot
if you want a
pie.
good pot pie, just go to Costco. It's like
Yeah.
46 pounds. And it's delicious. Like the
Well,
crust is everything about it's good.
but is it for one or is it like a family
Oh,
size
it
one?
depends on how hungry you are.
Don't tell me what I'm about, son. I get you. Yeah.
Some people are built different, Brian.
Yeah. Well, no, I wonder because what I hate is I've been to restaurants and they say pot pie and you order it and it's like you took a chunk out of a pot pie and gave me this. It's like I want like an individual because I want all the crust. I want a bottom crust and a top crust.
It's got bottom and top. I mean, it's huge, but it's got bottom and top crust. Okay. And
because I hate so many places now don't put a bottom crust.
Oh no,
they just put the thing over the top.
This thing's fully loaded, buddy.
And I get it because if you don't cook it long enough, the bottom crust is gummy, basically. Well, learn how to cook your damn food.
Exactly. Figured it out.
Figured it out. Yep. Oh, man, that's a great answer, though.
Yeah, I could probably keep going because I ate so much frozen shit as a kid that I've tried again.
Too. Yeah.
That I'm just like, why did I eat this?
Yeah, well, even like macaroni and cheese, right? Like as a kid, you love macaroni and cheese.
I still do.
But now we've had No. But I mean, we have. But now it's like you're not going to want a box of Kraft, right?
Dude, sometimes it hits.
Yeah.
You know.
But you get what I'm saying, though. It's like most of the time, it's like give me.
I would rather have really good mac and cheese, but like, it's not like the banquet pot pie. Like if I had a box of Kraft and I went upstairs right now and made it, I'm still gonna be like, this is delicious.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I'm just
that makes sense. You're right. A lot of frozen foods really fall into that, though. And then again, a lot of frozen foods and/or boxed foods fit that probably for probably both of us, especially like I know for sure for me because, like I said, poor. So you eat a lot of hamburger helper when you're poor.
Helper. Absolutely.
Meanwhile, I've made like homemade versions of it as an adult. Way better.
Homemade stuff slaps, man.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, there is something about just fucking having hamburger helper every once in a while. It's the same as like the Kraft mac and cheese for me a little bit. It takes me back to my youth, But
I remember, I don't remember how old he was, but like you were saying earlier, poor, that Logan basically grew up eating hamburger helper, right?
Yeah.
Because we were dirt ass poor for a long time.
It goes a long way.
And there was one of his birthdays, I think it was his teenage years. I'm like, hey, bud, it's your birthday. What do you want for dinner? He's like, I want hamburger helper. So I was like, really? And he was like, yeah. So we made it. And then we were just both like, oh, God, this is terrible.
Yeah. Like, what are we doing?
Fuck? Like, what's wrong with us?
There's all sorts of recipes online for replicating it, but just elevating it. So it tastes good, kind of a thing. So another one like that would fit in there probably would be ramen. Because growing up, it was fucking, just a pack of ramen, basically. Now, it's like, oh, there's this whole other world of ramen.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, I'll still take that classic orange pack. But I usually I'll throw egg on it. I'll chop up some scallions or something. Yeah.
That's kind of what I was getting with the flip of our actual question, which was like, these were things that like we liked. And then we like even more now, essentially, because we've had them prepared better, essentially. Because, like we said, they're not frozen or out of a package kind of a thing. It's like, oh, once you have it like the way it's supposed to be cooked, it's like, oh my God, this is a whole different world from
what I knew, man.
Stuff. Yeah. So, yeah. But the question, of course, was, a food you hated, but learned to love. I'm trying to think of another one. I can't really, because it was funny because as a kid, like I said, spinach is like, as a kid, I still ate it, but I didn't love it.
Right.
Whenever my mom was like, oh, we're having blah, blah, blah and spinach. And I'm like, ugh.
I mean, it's not a food, but coffee, like I fucking love coffee now.
Yeah.
But as a kid, I was like, oh, let me try it. And be like, ugh,
Yeah.
Like, oh, let me add all the cream and sugar. Oh, God, it's still gross.
Yeah, that's for sure how it was. Yeah. I was trying to think of that.
Cigarettes?
I can't. I for sure eat more cigarettes now than I did as a kid.
I mean, as a kid, lung snacks were not good.
I was only allowed to eat the menthol ones as a kid. Now I've moved on to flavor country.
Exactly. There you go.
More robust ones. It's weird. Usually, if, like when we have one of these questions, usually we can both kind of fire off multiple answers. But this one's harder, I think.
I mean,
because like you said, even as a kid, there weren't. I mean, there's plenty of foods I don't like or I hate, but I I still ate a lot of it. You know, like unless it was like Brussels sprouts, that one for sure I've always hated and never ever had them to where I even remotely liked them.
I mean, I think my thing with this question is like especially my dad was like, hey, let's go eat some weird ethnic shit. And you're gonna try it. And and it was always good. So and I did that to my kids too. So I was always introduced to like different foods at a young age. And it's just like I've always been kind of like, oh.
I actually kind of thought of something, which was Chinese food.
Oh yeah.
As a kid, I don't know if you remember, as a kid, I wouldn't eat Chinese food. Whenever we go get Chinese, I would get like fried rice.
Huh.
And it's because I think it's because it seemed too weird to me because most of what we ate was more like traditional white person fare.
Yeah. White people taco night.
Yeah, it wasn't very adventurous. So Chinese food seemed adventurous to me, but now I love it, and I've sampled all over various menus of stuff. Like Mexican food too. As a kid, I was probably like tacos was basically
give me the hard shell.
Yeah, now I'm like, whoa, what's this stuff I dip it in and it's covered in cheese and cilantro? Like, it's a whole different ball game. But again, I like that stuff.
Still gotta get you to my taco place.
Yeah. But it's like I like that stuff as a kid. I just was not I'm still not what I would call an adventurous eater, but I generally will try stuff. Like I've been to places with like you and stuff where it's outside of my normal comfort zone and I'm like, well, I'm going to try something, and I think I've been pretty good about like I'll at least try it to see if I like it. If I don't like it, that's fine, but I'll at least yeah, right? Versus just going ew to whatever it is. I mean, there's some things where I can't get my head past it, Like if you were like, "Hey, here's some head cheese," I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm good. I don't so much need that."
Like, bro, you ever had venison? Yeah. You ever had venison dick? Wait, what?
You just haven't had it prepared,
like,
right?
Let me take you to I know this really good Navajo place. Right. Like, wait, what?
Honestly, though, if you came at me from that perspective, it'd be more likely I'd try.
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
Still probably wouldn't, but I'd be like, well, let's go to this place because maybe I'll try something else, But yeah, but like I've told you, it's like I was excited when we were up at Pavlov's because they had like Jamaican food, and I was like, ooh, because I've wanted to try some of that stuff, and it just never.
I mean, there's legitimately good Jamaican restaurants in Toledo,
yeah, right? But it was like when we were kids, there was like 2 ethnic food places in Toledo. Yeah, there was Beirut and what's that other place? God, I can't think of the other one. There was another place that was similar kind of a thing, but it was just that was basically it. Everything else around here was pretty much like white people tacos.
it's like, well, I mean, for me growing up, because my aunt for a while was married to a Lebanese man. My neighbors, KJ and all them, they were Lebanese. Yeah, so I had a lot of like, Middle Eastern food introduced to me because my dad loved it too.
Yeah, sure.
But you're not wrong. Like Toledo, unless there's something that we didn't know about because we were young.
Yeah,
it was basically like your standard American Chinese food and your American Mexican food.
Yeah.
And
that was exotic food for the
exactly.
area, basically. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure there were probably some like one-off like mom and pop ethnic food places in Toledo. I'm sure there were.
Yeah.
But nobody ever talked about them. Now everybody's pretty much got a dude, have you had this like Kazakhstani food? It's like
yeah, exactly.
Like, what? I didn't even know that was a fair. Or hey, did you hear they just opened an Ethiopian place? And like, okay.
Like, I thought all those people were hungry.
Yeah, it's not.
Huh.
So, yeah, there's for sure way more different food in our area than there used to be, which is awesome.
I love it.
Because you can try it around.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I love some food.
Well, even the difference of, I mean, when we were kids, there was basically Chinese food. There really wasn't a lot of like Japanese or Korean.
Let's go get Thai. You mean Chinese? No, I mean Thai.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a great example, right? Now there's a bunch of Thai places in Toledo, compared to as kids. So, and again, my parents were very much, we were very much a white family.
That's fair.
We were a meat and potatoes kind of family, so which is fine, nothing wrong with that. But also, I've done more of my air quote adventurous eating as an adult,
right?
For sure, and been better for it. That's why I always liked with you and Jeannie the way you were with your kids, which was like you said with your dad, where it's like try it.
Like you got it.
If you don't like it, fine.
That's I stand by that. At least try it, and then you can say you don't like it. Don't just judge it.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's very much a different world in that regard. So all right, well there you go. Our Q of the W again is what's a food you hated but learned to live after having it prepared right.
Good old lerv.
Lerved. Yeah. So I was again. It's like I'm like going through this in my head, and I'm like,
it's kind of a hard question.
Because the thing is, as a kid, most of what we had at home, I liked.
Right.
The stuff we didn't was like if my mom was going to make Brussels sprouts, which wasn't very often. She's not a huge fan of them either. I don't remember if my dad was, but she would make them like once, and she would always also make like green beans or something like that. So I would eat green beans. I just wouldn't have any of the Brussels sprouts. Or she used to have like butter beans quite a bit as a side, and I hate butter beans. I don't like them on their own.
He'll knock you to fuck out.
He would. You're right. But you know what I mean. But it's like, so I'm not a big fan of those. But again, she would have something else.
Right.
So I never really had to eat some of those foods. I mean, I tried them, but was just like, So yeah, I don't know. Cause I was trying to think of the foods that I hated the most as a kid, like anything cabbage based. It's like, well, I still don't eat I'll eat cabbage in like a salad or cabbage in Chinese food kind of a thing, or Asian food. I'll have a little, like if it's got bok choy in it or something like that, I'll eat it there. It's weird, but it's like, if I can smell the cabbage, not a chance.
You're out.
Mm-hmm. So, I can think of one other one just popped into my head. Chili dogs.
Oh, really?
As a kid, I wasn't really a big fan of chili in general, especially chili dogs. And as I got older, I like them a whole lot. Like now, if I'm getting a hot dog, I don't want just a plain hot dog. Like, give me a chili dog.
Basic bitch shit.
Yeah, like give me cheese and mustard and onion. Like load that some bitch up for me. Which actually was kind of a gateway into chili mac.
Oh yeah.
For me also.
Chili dogs is a gateway drug.
Yeah, they really were, because like ideal, because I remember us going over there. My parents wanted chili dogs, and we get over there, and I'm like, "What's this?" My dad's like, "Oh, it's chili mac." He's like, "Yeah, it's real good. You should get one," kind of a thing. Like, okay.
Yeah, you want 10 pounds of noodles, 5 pounds of cheese, and a bunch of chili.
And onion. Don't forget the
onion. That's always my favorite.
Yeah.
Like, because would get Ideal to go during COVID.
Yeah.
And you pop open the styrofoam thing. It's like the cheese is molded into shape because it's so much of it.
It
is.
Oh my god! Because they put a handful of cheese on the top of it. They
fuck it up with cheese.
Oh man, that's the biggest reason I love going there. Is it's like it's like, dude, I'm eating off this at least twice, probably 3 times. There's just so much on
food.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Anyway, so yeah, I did think of one more. Because I remember as a kid, my mom would buy, it wasn't Pacos at the time, but it would be like, a canned hot dog sauce, basically. Yeah. And now if I ever want, like, if I buy it now, I always buy Pacos.
It's pretty solid. Solid choice.
Right. So, yeah. But as a kid, we'd have that, and I'm like, nah. I'll just eat basic hot dog. Like, what the hell was wrong with me?
I don't know, man.
Well, I was a kid, I was like, ooh, I can put ketchup on this.
Hell yeah.
Which is something I don't do
Tomato
anymore.
frosting.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. All right. Well, there you go. So head on over to saltylanguage.com. Click the links on there for the show notes and what have you. Won't be a whole lot this week, actually.
No, we did just a lot of bullshitting.
Yeah. But you can find the link to the network we're part of, which is Tangent Bound Network at tangentboundnetwork.com. So please go check out the other shows there. And if you're looking for a network for your show, join us.
Yes.
Yeah, and if you talk to Mark, I don't know what we got for Mark this week.
Tell him, prop his ass up and fall asleep.
Uh, yeah, and hurry up and get our studio done.
Yeah, we've
Jeez,
been waiting.
what is going on?
Holy shit.
I don't understand. I haven't seen any movement on
I
this
know.
yet.
I've been waiting for trucks to show up. The
Yeah.
truck's coming, guys.
Yeah. Oh no, not again.
God damn it.
Yep. Oh yeah. If you want to reach out to us on social media, you can find the show on Twitter at salty_language. You can find me on whatever social medias I'm on, pretty much at, wow, I almost said ninjutsu. Jeez.
Whoa.
At Stunami. I'm only on very select things as ninjutsu. Usually they're video game related.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
You can find me on Instagram at @themonotony. You can find me on TikTok at Salty Language because I run the show account here. Salty Language Podcast on YouTube if you want to see some of the shit we're talking about or see our beautiful faces. Check us out. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. Make some comments. It's all about the algorithm, baby.
Sure.
You betcha. Patreon.com/saltylanguage, which we should record something soon for that, Brian.
Should. Right.
I have a video in the works for All the Beers Pod chronicling my seltzer journey I've been going on. It's
journey.
Yeah.
Don't stop believing.
Don't stop believing, baby.
Right.
And Brian, what about your side sitch?
Well, yeah, I mentioned it earlier in the podcast, but I have another podcast called The Crazy Life, where it's me, Jen, and Heno this week. We actually got the band back
Holy
together
shit,
after
all three, y'all.
while. Yeah. And this past episode, we just kind of caught up, but we talked about Heno's been doing a bunch of music gigs recently, and just talked about what he's been up to over not being on the show for a few episodes. And Jen talked about some work stuff that the way she handled it, and she was proud of herself for that. And I talk about not having a great week. So
all right.
I'm not gonna lie, it was one of the harder episodes I've done. So it's a good mix of stuff on there. Usually, we talk about stuff that has to do with mental health or recovery from addiction, depression, drugs, or not drugs, alcohol, but that kind of stuff. But yeah, this week it was mostly a catch up because we haven't had the team together in a while, so we didn't have a topic. But yeah. So if you're into that, please give us a listen.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. I guess I should pull up the insult, huh?
I suppose.
Here it is. All right. So this week's insult is dirty puzzle.
Wow. All right. This sounds like some sort of like MS-DOS nudie game.
Oh, man.
Oh, shit. Let's play another run of dirty puzzle.
Oh, my God. It really does sound like dirty. Yeah, it does sound like that. I can't really look.
Like something we would have bought pirated at that weird store.
Oh, my God. You're right. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Yeah, I can't even look up. I'm trying to look up like the origin of some of this, but it's all like, here's where you can buy dirty puzzle books.
Of course.
It's like, thank you, Spencer's. But
you want to play around a Sadixu? Like what? Dirty puzzles.
No, I don't. I mean, a dirty puzzle sounds like it could also be like a euphemism for the sexuals.
It could be.
Let's
go figure out the dirty puzzle.
Yeah, let's lock our pieces. Yeah. Wink, wink. But it's not. It sort of is, because it's a term for promiscuous women who get around.
What? It doesn't make sense to me.
I know. That's why I was trying to find like an origin or something like that. But
that dame's a real dirty puzzle. I guess.
Okay. Like I don't know.
Is it because everyone's trying to figure her out or something?
Maybe. Did you say finger or figure?
Whatever.
Okay. Wait a minute. Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. For this week, it's a dirty puzzle. I don't know about calling somebody a dirty puzzle, because I feel like that's not going to land as an insult. It's just going to be more like a what?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I'm calling you a promiscuous woman who gets around. Slap across the face. Yeah. Kick in the balls.
Dirty puzzle.
slap across the balls. Yeah.
Maybe that dude's into that though.
Yeah, it's probably. Mm-hmm. All right. There you go. So until next week, have a beer. You'll be fine because Tony Seltzer's not ready
Not
yet.
yet. Like 10 more days.
Damn it.
Stay salty, just like my jug of fluid. You know what that stuff's called, Brian?
I hopefully not jug of fluid.
It's called the prep fluid is called Go Lightly.
I feel like that's not accurate.
It should be like Go Aggressively or
I was
something.
gonna say, I'm pretty sure that's a heavy flow kind of thing.
Yeah, go wildly.
Yeah. Go aggressively sounds very like Jesus.
Yeah, go lightly. Go off. Fuck off.
Right.
Pieces of shit.
Here's your jug of empty bowel.
Yeah, that would be a better name.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
It does make sense.
I don't like the idea of trying to make it cute either. You know, it's like, listen, this should be an all business situation here.
Yeah.
Like, don't fuck around and make me think, oh, this won't be that bad.
Yeah. Here's your jug of we gonna turn you inside out.
Yeah, like, you know, if I blink and I shit my pants, I feel like you should tell me that's going to happen up front.
What a terrible mutant power.
It only works on yourself, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly. It's why you're a terrible X-Men.
The power of shitting your pants, you know, when you blink.
Yeah.
I hope it's a may and not will.
Yeah. No, it's for sure a will.
Oh boy, that's no good.
That's no good.
You're just sitting there like toothpicking your eyes open.
Exactly. It's like those poor kids in Freddy cutting their eyelids off and shit so they don't fall asleep.
Must not blink. Like, dude, what's the? It's like it's just blinking. What's the problem? Like, you don't understand, man. And it's not like just a little shit your pants. It's like you drank that jug.
Go aggressively.
Yeah. It's like it's all coming.
Oh yeah, exactly.
The dam broke.
Frickin' last Thanksgiving's coming.
Oh my. Oh my. All right. So yeah. All right. Well, we'll talk to you next week.